Deep within the endless, unforgiving snow-covered forests of Siberia, where temperatures plunge to a staggering -70 degrees Celsius, stands a small wooden cabin. This remote shelter is home to the true hero of today's story. Mark, a 66-year-old man, has spent the last 20 years living completely alone in this frozen wilderness, far away from the noise of society, the comforts of modern civilization, and the conveniences most people take for granted. At first glance, his life may not seem extraordinary. But once you hear his story, you begin to understand the true meaning of sacrifice, resilience, and the harsh realities of survival. Mark lives in the Yakutia region of Russia, a land stretching along the Arctic Ocean and widely known as one of the coldest inhabited places on Earth. Here, winter is not simply a season of cold, it is a relentless daily battle for survival. Most of the year, the temperature is so high that it is difficult for humans to breathe. In this terrible environment, Samuel has chosen to live far from human civilization for the past 2 decades. His only companions are his dog and the occasional stray cat and bear. Every morning, Samuel's day begins with a specific routine. He wakes up early and listens to the news on his homemade battery-powered radio. This is his only contact with the outside world. To survive the brutal winter of Yakutia, keeping the house warm means saving lives. So as soon as the sun rises, he heads to the forest to collect wood for the stove. At 66 years old, this is not an easy task. But there is no alternative. Without wood, the fire will go out. As the fire dies out, it feels as if death itself is slowly entering the house. This wooden shelter was built entirely by Mark with his own hands. Massive tree trunks, ropes, and his unbreakable determination form the very foundation of his home. Despite his age, his incredible mental strength allows him to cut down heavy logs, haul them back, and transport them using a handmade wheelbarrow, but the house has no real windows. Instead, thin sheets of plastic cover the openings, offering little protection against the brutal cold. Because of this, the warmth escapes quickly, forcing him to keep the fire burning several times a day. In Yakutia's merciless climate, even the smallest mistake can be deadly. At such extreme temperatures, the air itself becomes painfully cold, cutting through the body with every breath. So Mark is always active. Physical work is the only way to stay warm here. Since he is about 30 kilometers away from the nearest village, gathering food is the biggest challenge in his life. He does not admit much. His only source of meat is rabbit traps. But success in this is very rare. Maybe once a month. When the food runs out, he has to walk 5 to 7 hours to the village in spring or summer. He has to make this journey through snow, mud, and inaccessible roads just in the hope of a little food. In winter, this path is almost impossible. Because the whole area is covered in deep snow and the slightest mistake means life is in danger. When the house is a little warmer, Mark starts cooking. He eats once or twice a day, depending on the food supply. But no matter how little he has, he never forgets his friends when he gets his food. Even when food is scarce, he always tries to save a portion for them before eating himself. Their connection is beyond words, it is a bond built on survival. To earn money for food, Samuel sometimes crafts brooms from the branches of nearby trees. During summer, he walks nearly 5 hours to the village, where each broom sells for only $3. At times, he checks rabbit traps. Other days, he fishes in the nearby river, knowing that every bit of food matters before the harsh winter arrives. But survival does not always reward effort. There are many days when he returns home with nothing. Some days become so difficult that he must share his painful story with villagers and ask for help just to survive the food shortage. For drinking water, Samuel cuts blocks of ice from the frozen river and melts them over fire. Even though the ice is naturally pure, he still boils and disinfects the water before drinking it. In this unforgiving land, even the smallest mistake can cost a life. Although he has no modern bathroom, necessity pushed him to create his own shower system using old petrol cans. His resourcefulness seems endless. Even in such a brutal environment, nature gives him one advantage: he never needs a refrigerator. The frozen land itself serves as his natural freezer. Mark stores his food in an underground cellar built into Yakutia's permanent permafrost. This frozen layer of soil and rock remains solid even during summer, preserving food for long periods while also protecting it from wild animals. At night, he prepares traditional yakutia bread using only flour, water, and soda, a simple meal, yet enough to keep him alive. After dinner, he feeds the fire once more to warm the house before lying down to sleep. But rest never lasts long, because he knows the next morning will bring another harsh challenge to survive. Mark's life is a story filled with hardship, endurance, and silent suffering. He lost his family at a young age. And that passion may have led him to a lonely life. But despite losing everything, he never lost his will to be single. Maybe one day Mark will disappear. Maybe the rest of the world will not remember him. But this snow of Siberia, this sister, and the soil of Yakutia will remember him forever. Because he is a real hero. Who has learned to be happy with whatever he has. And no matter what, he never gave up on the magic of life. You can share your opinion in the comment box. If you like the video, give it a like. And stay with us for more such real stories.